Hello and welcome to today's video where I'm going to go over patch 14.7 and the teams in the four major regions of Lol Esports that were positively impacted by the patch and negatively impacted by the patch based on champion pool usage. We look at the champions that were buffed and the last time they were relatively meta or fully blown meta and which players played them, as well as the nerfs, which teams have been playing the champions that were just nerfed on this patch, and that would mean that they maybe can't play them anymore. Keep in mind a couple tidbits for this. If a player played a champion in a minor region or in academy, development leagues, things like that, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't count in the way that it would at a tier 1 level. Not everything translates just because you're great on your one trick in the LDL or Division 3 LVP or whatever the fuck. It doesn't make a difference until it's at the top level. In addition to that, this notion that patches don't change anything. A lot of people probably didn't notice that I made a video a couple weeks ago about 14.4 and looking back at it and what actually changed as a result of that patch. We looked at the champions that were buffed and nerfed, the presence of those champions in the four major regions, and the champions that significantly changed. I think there were 5 or 6 champions that we could say, because of 14.4's different, whatever happened on 14.4, buffs, nerfs, the like, adjustments, those champions' presence changed. And a lot of people want to say patches don't do anything, or this patch isn't going to change anything. And it's like, yeah, maybe your solo queue experience, but that's not what this channel is about. So, commenting about solo queue on a video like this is kind of silly when it's about pro. Now, the teams that are happy about this patch. In the LPL, we have BLG. Galio is buffed. Knight plays Galio. Smolder for Elk, and Karma for On. All 3 champions have been buffed. Karma a bit adjusted, trying to buff her support aspect and kind of take away a bit from Karma mid. OMG. So this is kind of just me having a little fun. Nasus was buffed. Do I expect to see Nasus? No. The only player to play Nasus multiple times in God knows how long is Cube of OMG, then with Rare Adam. Last year, the year before, he played it twice. So I'm going to give him credit for that because no one else even played it in a tier 1. Keen did play it once. Nobody played it more than once in tier 1. Galio for Angel, and PP God played Karma quite a bit last year. JDG, Silas, Jungle for Kanavi. Silas Jungle was very popular not too long ago, a couple of years ago, and it was mainly dominated by Kanavi and Meteor in that way. So Kanavi with the Silas, LGD isn't on the board because they weren't extremely affected and they didn't have a ton of champions to really talk about. So Silas for Kanavi, Galio for Yagao, Smolder for Ruler. However, Kanavi has played a bit of Rel this year, and Rel Jungle was nerfed. They're trying to, I guess, scale it back. If you look at Riot Froxen's Twitter, he kind of tries to explain why each champion is being changed, and I guess Rel is kind of being scaled back into more of a support role. RNG, Olaf for Wei, a typical Wei pick not too long ago when Olaf was meta. Galio for Tangwan. Last year he played it twice. Not many people played Galio at all last year, so if it's buffed, he may have a more of an inkling to play it because not many people were even playing it last year, and he did. Smolder for LWX, and then Wei played quite a bit of Volibear when it was popular the last month or so it's been nerfed. In terms of middle ground here, Anyone's Legend had 5 champions altered that are in the pools of their players. So Harry played quite a bit of Camille last year for Ultra Prime. Olaf for Krakow, he played it a couple times. Last time it was meta in the LCK. One of very few players that did do that in the LCK, so he probably has a high inkling to play it if it's good. Karma for Cal, he played it a lot last year. Shoot, I have like a hair hanging off my glasses. And then nerfs. Croco played a lot of Rel and Volibear when they were hot, so both of them have been nerfed. LNG, Rel Volibear again for Weiwei has been nerfed. However, Camille for Zika is buffed, and Galio for Scout is buffed. The only LPL team that comes away from this negatively is Team World Elite. So Karma is buffed. Iwandi plays quite a bit of Karma. However, Hung played Rel, and then Camille support. So Camille is on the board because she has been kind of buffed for top lane and nerfed for support, I guess, is the vibe that I got from reading the description of what they believe this change and adjustment is supposed to do, not necessarily what the public may be, chiming in with their opinions. I'm more concerned with the person making the changes or responsible for the changes opinion than just some random Joe Blow that, is talking about their solo queue experience. So, why am I talking about Camille? Well, regardless, that was discussed. Team We are the only. Oh yeah, Camille. Iwandi played Camille support. Only a few players did. Several players, I guess, across all 4 major regions. He was one of them. LCK teams. Brion come away +3. So Karas, quite a bit of Galio last year. Smolder for Envy, and Effort if he's starting. He was in the last series for their split. Karma. Support was buffed. Gen G, Camille, in the case of Keen, has been buffed. Silas, Jungle, Canyon, a Silas enjoyer. Karma for Lahens, and then Rel was nerfed. So Canyon played quite a bit of Rel this year, and that's being nerfed. KDF, Cuz played a bit of Silas when it was meta. Smolder in the case of Bull, I think he played it 3 or 4 times this year. And Karma for Andal. Andal played quite a bit of Karma even last year, alongside, who was it? It wasn't Taeyun, was it? Teddy? Was Teddy? No, Teddy played for Liv Sandbox. Shoot, I think it might have been Taeyun last year. And then Volibear Jungle, in the case of Cuz, has been nerfed. LCK teams in the middle of the road here that have a lot of champions. HLE. So Camille buffed. Doran played quite a bit of Camille. Smolder for Viper. Karma for Delight. And then Rel nerfed in the case of Peanut. And then Camille. Delight did attempt Camille, and so it's nerfed. I mean, I doubted he was going to play it again anyways, but regardless, it's there. There are no LCS or LEC teams that I find in the middle of the road that have several, like even 4 or 5 champions that I could talk about, so they're not there. There's no middle ground there. There are no LCK teams that come away net negative from this. T1, I think, were 0 in the middle as well, but only a couple champions to really talk about. So, in the case of LEC, this patch is a negative one. BDS were the only one that came out positive because Labrov played a lot of Karma last year. Otherwise, it's really not a net positive based on champion pools the last time these champions were meta and playing them a lot of times. Somebody maybe, like Wonder played Camille once. I don't really care if he played it once, if he has to play it a few times, because other people in other regions were playing it a lot. YSCam played Camille like 11 times last year. So clearly, if you liked Camille, it was viable. Fnatic come out negative here. Karma is buffed in the case of June. He played a lot of Karma last year and this year. Actually last year, I don't think. Well, he might have played it this year a bit too. Rel and Volibear nerfed in the case of Razork. He's played that quite a bit. Vitality, Photon played Camille a couple times last year. The only LEC top to do so, which is why other players aren't up there. And then Vitality, Rel nerfed. Douglas played a lot of Rel. And Hilly did attempt Camille. SK, the only -2 champion on the board. And it's kind of 1.5. So Isma may have played more Rel than anybody else in the LEC. And then Camille. So DOS did attempt Camille, so that's also nerfed in the case of SK. LCS teams, C9 and FlyQuest, both are buffed by Olaf and Karma. Blabber and Inspired are Olaf Jungle Enjoyers, and then Vulcan and Buzio played Karma last year, and I believe even a little bit this year. NRG, Palafox played Galio mid last time it was meta, and FBI played a lot of Smolder this year. The nerfed LCS team, Team Liquid. So Yeon played like 4 or 5 games of Smolder, but Umpty is nerfed by the Rel and Volibear nerfs. So we'll see what happens with that. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Become a YouTube supporter. And I hope to see you again tomorrow.